Jadav is back at it here to give everyone my final Breaking Bad Season 3 episode reaction video. Before I get to that, though, it's extremely important if you're not caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Breaking Bad, or you're just not sure, then you should probably take the initiative and pay attention to the episode title, which, of course, I'll say and put in the description for you. If that's the case, you find out that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further, just to stay away from any potential spoilers. This is going to be Breaking Bad Season 3, Episode number 13, the Season 3 finale, titled Full Measure. This will be my reaction review recap after just finishing watching the episode. Starts off with a flashback from, I believe, 1992. Walt and a very pregnant Skyler, who's pregnant with Walter Jr., are shown by a realtor the house where they will eventually live. Now, Walt is at the point in time working for a prestigious laboratory, envisions a bright future with 3 children, and worries that they're not setting their sights high enough with the house. Now, in the present time, after Walt kills the gang members and Jesse goes on the run, Walt meets with Gus Fring and Mike to negotiate for his and Jesse's safety now, and for the continuation of his employment. Now, Walt suggests Gus has 2 options. Option A would be to kill Walt right there on the spot and eventually track down and kill Jesse. Or option B, consider the incident a lone hiccup in an otherwise long and fruitful business arrangement. Let him return to cooking and both agree to forget about Jesse. Now, Gus leaves, appearing to have chosen option B, but informs Walt that he will be choosing Jesse's replacement in the lab. Walt arrives at the lab to discover that Gale Boetticher's car is in the parking lot, and Gale has been reinstated as Walt's lab partner, and Victor now shadows them everywhere. Gus informs Gale later that night of Walt's cancer, and Gus says he intends to keep Walt on as long as possible, but must prepare for the worst case scenario. Now, Gale, or I should say Walt, whose prior suspicions about Gale are soon reignited, correctly concludes that Gus is grooming Gale to replace him, and that he will be killed once Gale masters Walt's formula of cooking meth. My nose itches, sorry. Acting on Gus's request, Mike visits Saul Goodman to find out Jesse's whereabouts. Saul refuses, claiming attorney-client privilege, but relents after Mike physically threatens him. And then Saul says, I might have the address, and then he pulls out like a little spiral notepad and points at it, puts it on the desk, points at it, and then walks out of the room. And it's containing actually a fake address in a trailer park in Virginia to keep Mike occupied. So Walt and Saul meet Jesse at a laser tag arcade, the place that Saul was trying to get Walt to buy. Victor is parked in a nearby parking place and watches Walt and Saul enter. Now, Walt informs Jesse of his situation and explains that when Gale is confident enough to take over, they will be disposed of. Walt decides they must kill Gale. Jesse begs Walt, having made enough money from the venture to ensure his family are financially secure, to quit and go to the police or the Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA. But Walt refuses. He reasons that Gus cannot stop production, and with Gale out of the picture, Gus would have no choice but to keep Walt. Jesse claims he is not a murderer and cannot kill Gale. Walt says he will do the job, and Jesse only needs to find Gale's address, as Walt is being heavily watched and cannot do so. Now, later that evening, Jesse calls Walt at home with Gale's address. I'd like to find out where he got that at, if he actually followed Gale somehow, some way, because if they saw Pinkman out and about, he would probably be a dead man. So there's a little plot hole there. And then as Walt is leaving his home to kill Gale, Victor arrives and informs him of a chemical leak at the lab. Walt suspects a setup, but is forced to go with Victor. Upon arriving at the laundromat, Walt sees Mike, confirming his suspicions. Pleading for his life, Walt offers to cook for free and take them to Jesse. Mike, upon hearing this, demands Jesse's location, but Walt says he needs to call him and set up a meeting. Now, Walt calls Jesse, who is sitting in the darkened laser tag building, about to smoke some meth. And then Jesse asks, "Did you do it?" And Walt frantically tells Jesse he's about to be killed. And he urges Jesse to reach Gale and kill him first. Now, Victor and Mike wrestle the phone away from Walt. And when Walt quotes Gale's address to them, they realize that they've realized what he's asked Jesse to do. Now, Victor hurry-ups and leaves very quickly, and Mike stays with Walt and attempts to warn Gale, but Gale fails to notice his phone ringing or going off. Now, Jesse arrives at Gale's house and pulls a gun on him, and Gale, at first is kind of like, okay, you can have whatever you want, and then he realizes, like, this is serious. Jesse's standing there crying and whimpering, like, I don't really want to do this, and Gale's like, and he pleads with Jesse, telling him that he does not have to do it, but unfortunately a tearful and shaking Jesse pulls the trigger, and that's when the season and the episode ends. So pretty good episode. Although this gets rated really high, I don't think it's that good because they didn't really give us much in this episode. They could have had a more jam-packed episode, but they kind of left some things out because they're setting up for an amazing season 4, which I'm not upset about, but it sucks for Gale because he's one of them, like, he didn't hurt anybody in Breaking Bad. All he did was he was the chemist. He cooked and that's it. I mean, maybe his product fucked people up, but he didn't hurt anybody. He didn't kill anybody to my knowledge, and then he gets killed because Gus wants him to take over for Walt. So I'm going to give the episode a 9.4 out of 10. And the character of the episode, I really wanted to give it to Mike Ehrmantraut, but I'm going to give it to Walt because it's Walt. And Mike is one of my favorite characters on Breaking Bad. At some point, he's going to be the character of the episode. I just don't know when, but I'll give it to Walt since he figured out, that Victor was there to dispose of him eventually. He figured out to call Jesse and, say, well, you better not kill me because you might not have anybody else to be your chemist. So Walt's the character of the episode, and you've obviously heard what I have to say, so it's your turn now. So I already know you're a fan of Breaking Bad. We all are. Every one of us that have watched this entire series are fans of Breaking Bad. Now, if you stop watching in the middle of the first season for whatever reason, I get it. You don't like the show. Not sure why, but whatever. It is what it is. But you need to smash that like button if you're a fan of the show. Leave me plenty of comments. Share the video with anybody that you know that would be interested in it. And comments about the episode, the score of the episode, your favorite characters, favorite episodes of Breaking Bad. You can rank them, whatever you want to do. And of course, last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.